Sliding up, baby. Sliding up. Here we go. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday. Welcome to Chiropractic is Sexy. I'm Dr. Paula Ruffin.
And I'm Dr. Erica Peabody. We're always so happy to be here every Thursday at 1 p.m. Ready to rock and roll.
We are ready to rock and roll. So we have been, just to give some insight, we have been going through the 33 principles of chiropractic, which are, it's the foundation for chiropractic. It's what chiropractic was built on. And these principles were created back in 1927, and the principles have not changed. So, you know, we keep saying this to you all, in that the principles of chiropractic, the principles of health and wellness, the foundational things that keep you living a life full of vitality, those things don't change. And nothing in chiropractic has been recalled, has been taken off the market. These have stood the test of time because they're designed in such a way that you just cannot question, and there's no way to, they don't fail. They don't fail. So we're so happy to be bringing you the principles and each and every week. And we of course, I just keep going back. I wish we could talk about principle number 6 every week.
Well, it applies every week. We just are moving on, but we always turn back around and talk about time. Absolutely.
That is true. Yes, that is true.
Yes. How was everyone this week? We're curious. Who's where and what's happening?
Yes. Number 8. Yeah, we're on number 8, Uncle Al. Yeah. So I'm still trying to work out when I do this and I post, it's posting for you. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I know when I post, it doesn't post for you, but when you post, it posts for me. But I think that's because you launched the thing. So
perhaps. Yes.
Yes.
So let me get rid of this. Okay, hold on. Let me save here, because somehow it was doing something weird and not allowing me to stream on Facebook. And let me get over there. Let's save that. And we should be live on Facebook also. So
I need to see my Facebook maybe.
Rebel Canners. She just went over, was it over 10,000 subscribers? Nice job. Love it. Love it. Congratulations. Okay. So yeah, so we are up to number 8. It's been so fun to dig into these. And Joe says, after watching Dr. Erica and the polar plunge, I'm assuming that was on was it on your Instagram or your YouTube channel?
It's everywhere. It's on my YouTube, but it's everywhere as you know, content creation goes, right? But yes. the full polar plunge is on my YouTube.
Was that what you did at New Year's? Was that New Year's?
We always do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm ready to jump in my own lake though, since it's been so mild here. You know, jumping in is one thing, jumping out and getting back inside is a whole nother thing. So,
right. Yeah, exactly.
But now I feel like with the sunshine and how warm it's in Michigan, well, not today, but how warm it's been in Michigan, you know.
So not 2 days ago.
Yeah, not as terrible to jump out of something like that and move on. So yeah. So
you know what I love to do with that when it comes to that polar plunge? Watch you.
You're not into it? No. So gangster. Yeah, for sure.
Glass of wine, under a blanket, looking out the window.
Yes, watching us. Well, you just make the coffee or hot chocolate afterwards, and
you got it.
I will plunge. I'll plunge extra for you. How about that?
Okay, I appreciate that.
Actually, yes. One of the greatest things about it is that we are not supposed to be at 70. We're not supposed to be at 68 to 72 degrees our entire life, right? We are supposed to be presented and adaptable, presented and then presented with challenges, atmospheric wise and otherwise, and then our body upgrades. So it actually is a really great thing, but it's also, you know, as the research shows, it's showing to be a major antidepressant, and people are able to get off their antidepressant medications due to it, which holy mackerel, do I have a story today.
Oh, good.
All but right, anyways, let's start with principle number 8.
Perfect. I do want to say about the polar plunge though, too. Yes, There are so many metabolic health benefits from it. Here's the problem I have with it though, is because it's become so popular, is that it's given people license to think that all they have to do is polar plunge
Well,
and that
yeah,
they don't have to do anything else in their lives. So you
yeah,
guys, it's another pillar
it
of
is.
health and wellness. So and that's why for me, I'm like, I'm not comfortable being cold. I do agree with, like, I'll tell you, I go outside every morning in my bare feet, in my pajamas,
Yeah.
not wrapped up, and I let the cold hit my skin.
I
So,
was thinking about that this morning. This morning was beautiful and sunny,
yeah.
but once you got outside, it was like,
Woo!
wowzers,
Yeah.
gold.
So and so when you do that, so I feel like because I've done that for so long that I can walk outside when it's 25 degrees and I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
okay
okay.
for a minute and
Yeah,
then I go back in. But and but for me, because I put so many pillars of health into my life and I live that way, I
yeah,
don't feel the need to polar plunge. I'm good at
right.
that. So yeah.
Nope, I totally get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I do understand people are doing it regularly and actually daily even. And I'm not into that. I'm just, you know, usually, to be honest, it's really good for the first of the year because it kind of marks a starting point and it usually helps the night from the night before. I mean, I don't drink a ton at all anymore. And I didn't go to sleep till 3:30 in the morning, regardless, because I was with my family and we were just hooting and hollering and have a great time. So it is a really great way to start the year, but also, recover from inflammation just in general. I mean, not getting enough sleep is one of a
Oh.
highly inflammatory lifestyle, not getting
Mhm.
enough sleep. In fact, I'm feeling that this week and just in general. I know. Die die frog. But number 8, let's
That's
move
Uncle
on, ladies.
that's Uncle
Move
Al.
it.
Uncle Al's like, "Come on.
I know
I don't
for
have
sure.
time for this chit chat. Let's move it."
Yeah, so number 8 is the function of intelligence, and now we've talked about universal intelligence and then the innate intelligence that's inside of our body, and the function of the intelligence is to create force. So what in the world would that even mean? I mean, if we had this intelligence moving through our body, but we weren't able to move around in our world, which, that does happen to people. It happens in paralysis, it happens in some disease processes, but it is actually to move around in our world and experience our world. So intelligence, the function of intelligence is to create force. So interesting. What do you think about that?
Boy, there's so much I think the first thing that comes to mind is if we go upstream a little bit because we talk about the difference between life and death, right?
Yeah,
So we have a dead body. There's no intelligence there, there's no force, there's no function, there's nothing.
there's
So
just
then
matter, right?
it's just matter, right?
Right,
Yeah. So then so now us, here we are, we're alive, we have intelligence, and so the intelligence basically breeds that life for
mhm,
movement in the world,
right,
right? So for us to animate, I mean,
right,
how else can we animate and move? I mean, wouldn't that be the force, right?
right. Yeah,
Expression of life.
right. And I think too, it's what we talk about with adjusting too, is that, we talked about the superhighway, which I think if we just continue to refer to the brain and spinal cord as the superhighway, that when there's interference in that superhighway, in the system itself, then the intelligence is interfered with. And that's really what we're looking for as chiropractors. I was just listening to a podcast and it was talking about whenever we have these subluxation, and I know we haven't used that word a ton in this podcast yet, but it's it's the thing we're looking for in the spine, which is it's nerve interference. It's basically the spinal bones misaligning, but not like misaligning, but like tweaking and torquing. And then that starts to put abnormal or bad input into the brain. And so then we just ultimately have a different I shouldn't say a different amount, but a different messages, aberrant, which is abnormal messages going to and from the body. That's what we're looking for. When we have those misalignments, it also interferes with how the body functions, but it puts major stress hormones in the body, which is the reason to get adjusted in the first place. So yeah, it's about, I think people have a misnomer of chiropractic is a true like misalignment, but
Right.
really it's a torque usually, or a twisting or a tension or a stickiness, a stuckness of two vertebrae on top of one another. And we're looking for that because that is creating major stress in the body. Regardless of where it's going to, regardless of where that nerve is going to, it's increasing the stress hormones.
Well, it's such a great point because, yeah, it's not just this. We tend to oversimplify as chiropractors, and we'll say bone out of place.
Yeah.
Bone out of place, stress on the nerve. So it does. It makes it sound like it's. And when you think of, okay, think of feedback. So you're somewhere, there's microphones, and there's feedback. What's the first thing everybody does when there's feedback? Right? That's what's happening on a microscopic level inside your body. Your body is hearing that feedback. Like that interference is a disruption in the signaling. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical disruption. It can be the chemical. We talk about physical, chemical, emotional stresses, traumas, thoughts, and toxins. So what physically could be there? Maybe it's scar tissue. There's what is it? I wish I had a coin here. There's there's, if you take the weight of a dime, and I always do this with patients, or take your finger and just barely touch your skin right here, and you'll see it pressed down. And that's about the weight of a dime. And that is enough to decrease your nerve signal by is it 40 or 60%? It's a lot.
High. Yeah.
It's high. And so if you can imagine that it's just that much pressure on a nerve in order to create that level of feedback to make the inside of your body go,
right.
It doesn't take much to get this, right? It doesn't take much. So it doesn't have to be, I mean, maybe you like just, you're walking and how many times have you run into a wall? I mean, that, that alone causes stress and pressure.
Or even if you don't fall, but that slip and then you check yourself when you're like, whoa, or you catch it, or it's all of that.
Well, and I was telling Chickadee, check yourself. So I was up in Dr. Erica's town yesterday, getting my hair did, and I was fortunate enough to get adjusted by her. I was so excited. So I truly, truly believe that for me to function at my absolute best, I need to be getting adjusted weekly. Mm-hmm. I still have not found myself a chiropractor that I can get to consistently other than Dr. Erica every 4 weeks when I'm up, she's 45 minutes away. So I'm sore. I'm in pain. I don't feel my best because I know that I have this going on inside my body. And I felt amazing after she adjusted me yesterday, but it's not enough because I need to get under more consistent care. And I was telling her, I said, how in the world do people say, oh, I only go to the chiropractor twice a year? I'm like, what are you like? I can't even imagine that. Mm-hmm. So I have to get, I've got a couple of people down here that I need to connect with because I also we chiropractors, we can do this really weird thing where we can be adjusted by multiple chiropractors, like, hey, adjust me. You get in the presence of a chiropractor, like, adjust me. I really want to be well cared for by one or two people. That's it. I don't want to have 6 different adjustments by 6 different people in 6 different weeks. That's not, you want somebody who knows how your body feels. So anyway, so I say that to say that I feel it, right? So I'm feeling the feedback in my system. I'm not sleeping great. The sun is shining today, but the warmth the other day was so cathartic. It's this time of year, there's so much dysregulation in our ability to move and sleep. And we're just, we're trying to navigate our way out of hibernation. So it's all of those things put together that I think when we start looking at how do we animate, right? How's that
Right.
expression? How does the force, the intelligence, the signaling, you need to pay attention to it. Hear the messages that your body's telling you. Don't ignore them. Those little aches and pains, or you get seasonal affective disorder. You aren't sleeping well. You've got joint aches and pains. You are feeling a disruption in your ability to communicate or to connect with your loved ones around you. You
Right.
can't focus. Like, there's so many different ways. Pay attention.
Right.
That's part of that animation, I would say.
You know what? It's Western medicine is behind the times. So yes, send a dime. She needs a dime.
Like, there's
Also,
got to be a coin on my desk.
I know that the other pressure that we use is the pressure, like if you put your finger over your eyeball and you just push until you're like, yeah, probably shouldn't do that anymore. That's another one that we use as an analogy. So yeah, Western medicine is behind the times. So I want to talk about that for a minute. Okay. So I want to share this story. This is the story that I alluded to when I first got on here. So Western medicine being behind the time is very true. More than that, Western medicine is driven by money. That is really where it's all about. And the reason they're behind the times is because, and actually back in, I think it's the 80s, chiropractors sued the AMA, the American Medical Association, because the AMA was trying to push down our profession, and they lost. Like they lost. The AMA lost because they were proven to be doing exactly that, to be pushing the profession down, to be pushing us back, to be holding our profession back against what was proper and lawful. That's a big deal. Nobody knows about that because guess why? There's too much money in medication, and there's too much money going on in that whole system. So it is behind the times, but more than that, it's really driven by money. And
The
so,
original suit was in 1976 by Chester Wilk, and
yeah,
4 other chiropractors sued the AMA, claiming that the AMA boycotted chiropractors to eliminate them as a competitor in the US healthcare system. The lawsuit also alleged that the AMA violated antitrust laws by restraining chiropractors' business practices. And then in 1990, the Supreme Court upheld the Trials Court of Appeals finding in January 1992, the AMA and the plaintiffs settled the lawsuit, ending one of the biggest antitrust legal battles in the United States.
is that crazy or what? And
Crazy.
who's heard of that before? You haven't heard of that. You
Mhm.
probably didn't know that even happened, but
Yeah.
it's because of our profession is based not only on these principles, but also based on natural law that the body is going to work better with a good nerve supply. End of story. We can go on and on with the 33 principles, and we will. However, end of story. The body's going to work better with a good nerve supply. So,
Well, and let me just comment too. There was an article published in PubMed. I'm looking at it right now. That was written by the Committee on Quackery about this case, and this is actually part 4. Looking back at the lawsuit that transformed the chiropractic profession, part 4, the Committee on Quackery. Now, if a bunch of chiropractors got together and created a committee on sham medicine, or whatever we wanted to call it, do you really think that we would be getting published on PubMed? Like, there is no way. It is such a one-way street, and it's really only what you want to hear. So, or it's what they want you to hear, I should say. Yeah.
So I had a new patient in yesterday, and she was born in 44. So I think that made her 78 years old to be, I don't know if that's right. Somebody do the math for me. 78 or 79, something like that.
When was she born?
44.
She's 80.
She's 80.
Well, I mean, depending on her birthday, she could be 79.
Yep, she's 79 because she'll be 80 in November this year. Okay. So she is 130 pounds. She has pain, not even kidding, from head to toe. She's also severely dehydrated and a lot of other things working in her disadvantage. And Can you guys see this? Okay, I'm going to go this way.
Oh, can. No. How many is that? Come on. That is malpractice.
This is insanity. This is
That
not okay. And
is
the reason,
not
and
okay.
I'm not saying none of these are necessary, not at all. You
But
can read
not
this
all
again.
of them are necessary.
And guess when they were prescribed? All the same day.
No. Wow.
This is absolutely an inappropriate. This is inappropriate. I wouldn't put one of these meds in my body, in my healthy body, not one. So she feels
Wow.
terrible. She's on all of these medications, and I of course blacked out her name, but it's insane. That is so inappropriate. It's horrifying. And not only that, she's also works with severe dehydration. As we get older, guess what we need more? Water. As we go through our days, guess what we need the most? Water. All day, every effing day. And so for her, I'm like, do you know what your body's trying to do right now with all of this?
Detoxify. Yes. Oh my God.
You guys, it's maddening. It's so maddening, which is why we're on here sharing these stories. And
Are they trying to kill her? Is that what I mean?
I don't know, because I've had, and I'm sure you have too, where they bring these drug lists in, and that's okay. And when it gets to be like this, there's vitamin D is at the end, but 25. So 1,000 I use daily.
Wow.
5 to 15. Oh, like, are we serious right now? This is not okay.
No.
There's nothing I can do about it. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it except for keep teaching you guys that this isn't how it is. Can you imagine what her innate intelligence is trying to do with all this every day, every single day? Guess
I
how
need
she's
a
gonna
sound
feel?
effect that's feedback. Yeah. Well, and Rebel, it's actually any more than two. Well, one drug has side effects.
Yep.
Now, when you put two drugs together, then you think, oh, it's the side effects of both of them. Once you put two together, it becomes exponential. So now you put 3. It's 3 to the third power.
This is 15.
15.
Plus
And
vitamin D.
You can't know at that point when you talk about drug interactions.
Nothing.
Because then what will happen is if she goes back to her medical doctor and says, I'm having this weird itch on my elbow, do you think it's caused from the medication? No, because it doesn't list it in the drug interactions page.
Well,
right?
so then let's give you a elbow itching drug to put on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you guys, this is insanity. This is not health. So let's talk about this though too. So let's say you go and you get some blood work done and your numbers are off the charts on one spot somewhere or in multiple places. Dr. Paula does blood work. She does functional medicine in her practice. So here's the thing. If you're going to get on a drug to put you back on the chart, does that make you healthy? That doesn't make you healthy.
Yeah.
Not at all. And what it's doing is ripping apart the viscera, ripping apart your liver. We need our liver for all things forevermore. We don't have extra liverness to manage this. You can't do this to your body. You can't do this. You can't. I'm so appalled.
And when we talk about the liver, I always say to him, like, I would like a glass of wine. Now, I'll tell you, if I ever had menstrual cramps, we'll just go there. Okay. I would go home and I would have one glass of red wine. And that was enough to help settle it, because it's a blood thinner. And that's what menstrual cramps are. I never took an aspirin. I never took any kind of medication.
You know what else helps with it though too? Even simpler than that is a little peppermint oil rubbed
Right.
over the
Well, I
abdomen.
did all that too. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like
But I
we
wanted the
have to
wine.
stop.
I wanted the wine.
We have to stop the this is crazy. And
Yeah.
you know, we talked a little bit about this last time, but I went out, I think it was like a bachelorette party or something. This was years ago. And on the party bus ahead of time, someone got out their bottle of Advil and said, "Who wants some just in case?"
Oh,
Like, can we stop this madness? It's
that is
hard.
crazy. How about you just like just don't drink that much
And
to
how about you drink a ton of water or drink a water between every
Yeah.
cocktail or with
Yeah.
every cocktail? Why don't you take your magnesium? And then the other thing is, why don't you eat extra super clean and figure out how to get a bunch of greens or green juice into the body before you go out and do something like that? Like
Yeah.
there's other ways. Eat more vegetables. Yes, all the things.
Well, and
So
I've been in situations and people like will like ask me, which obviously they don't know me very well, and they'll say, do you have do you have something for a headache? And I'll go like this, right here,
yeah, for
right
sure.
here.
For sure.
Let me adjust you.
Yep.
Let's take care of that headache
Yeah. And
because
the
it
other part is
probably needs correction.
right, and the part about it is that the body doesn't have a headache due to lack of Advil in it. Like, okay, if we're looking for an answer. The answer is Advil. The question's wrong, right? The
Right.
question's wrong. Like,
Right.
what else have you done? What else have you done to create this? And let's get your spine checked, because that symptom is your body's way of saying, pay attention. Pay attention. So we get a lot of patients in because of symptoms. I mean, pain from head to toe. I don't know, but I can also help starting to get her spine moving in ways that it hasn't moved in a while. Start to get this information superhighway at least cleared up little bit at a time. And we have to talk about water. Like, you have to drink water. Our entire body is soup. So anyway, that's just one of my
It's
examples from this week.
crazy.
It is
Well,
crazy.
also
It doesn't need to be this way.
when when you're talking about somebody mentioned about being your own advocate, and I think it was Bohemian, is that it's okay to question that.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't know,
And
that
it
would
should
be, I
be.
think once you build trust, I don't know if she's a new patient or whatever, but once I built trust with somebody, I might be inclined to ask, so can we just talk about that? And what did you think when you were prescribed all of that? And how did that go down? And, I'd be inclined just to have the conversation about how does that happen? How does, first of all, change doctors, period.
Yeah.
And because the other thing, when you do all of that, there's this, I'll call it relatively new, because you're hearing a lot more of it now. Place a comment in the comments if you've heard of non-alcoholic fatty liver. Have you guys heard of this? And this is why. Because so people, they're like, oh yeah, they've got non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, never drank a day in their life, or never had a exposure to a toxic chemical. Sure you did. You've been taking these medications your whole life.
Right.
And just because it's regulated does not mean it's healthy.
Or
So
safe.
and you touched on that earlier, Erica, was that it's not about when you take that, and so if your blood pressure is high and you take medication to lower your blood pressure, that doesn't make it fine. That doesn't make it normal. That doesn't make it healthy. And when you push something else down, guess what happens to something else? It goes up. Your
Right.
body wants to be in what's called homeostasis or
Right.
balance. And so when you have this, like, we're going to push this down, we're going to raise this up, we're going to shove this over here, your body it's intelligent. It is going to adapt. And so if we bring the forces back into it, the adaptability of the body to provide force in a direction when it's being pushed somewhere it doesn't want, because it's looking to get back to homeostasis.
Right.
So when you put that many chemicals in the body's going to do what the body needs to do. It's going to start driving forces in a particular direction. And it's going to start putting fat onto the liver because it cannot process all of that the way it needs to, right? What'd you say? There's not enough liverness?
Yeah, there's not enough liverness for this.
Yeah. So it just can't process. And so now you get a fatty liver, and now suddenly you have stage 4 liver failure. I mean, this poor woman, it's like, whoa, that's what I'm saying. Are they trying to kill her? Like, that's just crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah, it's really wild. You guys are silly. So the other part, okay, so you mentioned blood pressure. So let's just talk about blood pressure for 1 second. Blood pressure is a certain level in the body to make sure you stay upright and make sure that your brain gets oxygen, okay? So your body is increasing blood pressure because maybe for many different reasons, but the healthier you are, the lower it will come down. And here's the thing. If you artificially lower blood pressure, you start to affect the amount of oxygen available for the brain. And then guess where that leads you? Hypoxia of the brain, which just means lack of oxygen. And guess where that leads you? Chronic lack of oxygen to the brain. Guess where this world's headed? You want to talk dementia here? Let's go ahead. We can't artificially do these things to the body. We have to get all of our health principles online. We have to constantly be looking to figure out a way to eat well, move well, drink your water, keep a positive mindset, get adjusted, and get your rest. These are the 6 principles we have to work with every single day. Dr. Paula and I work with them every single day. We teach them every single day. And once we start to go in a good direction, we can start to, and we see it all the time. Our patients get off of medications all the time. Number 1, because they're starting to get healthier, feel better. But number 2, they're starting to really question why they're on them in the first place. I'll say to them, is it helping? Well, not really. I'm like, then why are you annihilating and assaulting your liver on a daily basis if it's not helping? Like, let's get you checked. Let's get you adjusted. Let's get your nervous system online. You got to drink water. You got to move your body. You got to get your rest. We can't be dealing with this level of stress, so there's a lot of different ways around it, but we teach those principles all day long. So
yeah. And the oxygen thing, when we lower oxygen, I'm going to get a little nitty gritty. You guys want to lean in on this one?
Turn your hearing aids up. Turn them up.
Turn your hearing aids up. Men, this one's for you. When you artificially lower oxygen, guess what happens? Or guess what doesn't happen? Wah, wah, wah. So, how many?
Right. Well, the other part, the lower cholesterol. Cholesterol is the precursor.
Cholesterol will do that
all
too.
of our hormones in our entire body.
Yes.
In our entire body.
Yeah. So we have PCOS, polycystic ovarian, and we have erectile dysfunction, both from messing with our lipids, our cholesterol, and our oxygen.
Yeah.
And it's part of the toxicity of 15 medications being prescribed to you, or, Bayer. Let's talk about Bayer aspirin for a minute. What a great marketing campaign they created. So much so that people just willingly go to the store to grab a bottle of aspirin and take one a day because they heard it on a commercial that it was good for heart health. The baby aspirin, right? You guys, that's a friggin' sham. You got sold a bill of goods, and that is the number 1 cause of gastric bleeding, is taking aspirin on a daily basis. You are causing so much damage to your body when you're doing that. So no, you know what's more effective is take fish oil every day. Take at least 3,000 to 5,000 units of fish oil every day. I mean, you could take 2,000 if you wanted to, but get it up there if you have, pun intended, if you, sorry.
Get it up there.
Get it up there. Let's get the fish oil on deck and get
Yeah.
it up there. Okay.
So this is a really great question, Grow Big. Is there benefits of taking a shot of turmeric and honey and apple cider vinegar, or is it just a waste of money? It's not a waste of money. It's not the end all be all, but it is wildly anti-inflammatory. Of course you did that. Of course.
Yeah.
um, it is really beneficial. Turmeric is obviously a natural anti-inflammatory. We need that across the board for everybody every single day. Honey, especially if you get it locally, is just there's a laundry list of benefits of having local honey in your life and in your body and as a sweetener. It's anti-allergen, it's asthma helping, it's anti-inflammatory, of course, all the things. And then apple cider vinegar, I don't know. I think Bragg's apple cider vinegar was just bought out by what's his butt, Gates.
Oh, dear God.
I might be wrong. Or
Oh,
Monsanto, one or the other. Like, don't get Bragg's anymore, is my understanding. But do the research on that. I don't know for sure.
they want their hand in all of
They
it.
do. They want their hand in
Yeah.
everything, and then they want to start to alter it because a lot of these things are. I might be wrong, but I was like, oh,
I'm
ding, ding,
looking it up.
ding. Like, will you look that one up?
Yeah, looking it up right now.
Yeah. So it was Bragg's, and it was just a couple of months ago, maybe like 6 months ago.
Wander Pace Capital, some investment firm.
When was that? 6 months?
Co-investors, singer-songwriter Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom.
Is that 6 months ago?
That was, what am I looking at here? Why apple cider this was last year.
Yeah. Okay.
So Bill Gates did not buy Bragg and change its apple cider. Okay.
So behind the scenes inside of those, like, celebrities bought Bragg's.
Yeah.
I don't follow that. Anybody find that a little suspicious?
Yeah. Patricia Bragg died last year. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
So it's just acquired by investor group. There we go.
We're gonna have to we got to look. We'll look deeper into that for you guys.
Yeah. So it's all those things. So anyway, be mindful, do your research on Bragg's because that went sideways recently. But yeah, that's all those things, like to do that combination shot in the morning is really, really awesome. So yeah, no, it's
Go
not.
Check out Rebel's page. Yeah, this is awesome on how to make your own vinegar. She's got some great videos on there. So also Erica, she's just a little like northwest of you. Where are you, Rebel? Where are you at? Because we've been talking about meeting up because she's here in Michigan. So anyway, I digress. But yeah, go check out her channel. But the other thing too to point out about apple cider vinegar is that most people have digestive issues because they don't have enough acid in their stomach. So that is where the ACV comes in really handy, is that it starts to boost the acidity level in your stomach. So it can help to get the hydrochloric acid pumps working again. Most people who are on PPIs, proton pump inhibitors, acid blockers, which I forget what the percentage is. It's a very, very high percentage. I shouldn't just throw that out there without knowing the percentage, but I'll just tell you that. Somebody could look it up and drop it in here for me. I have it in one of my workshop PowerPoints somewhere. But if you are taking a PPI or acid blocker, you have chronic digestion or reflux. If you have chronic reflux, it's probably because you don't have enough acid. And what happens there is that the valve in the esophagus won't close until the pH of the stomach gets to a certain level. So if the pH in the stomach isn't proper, that valve doesn't close. So people will go get a tube shoved down their throat and the doctor's like, oh, that valve is floppy. It's not closing. Yeah, you need more acid for your brain. Let's go back to the nervous system because the brain and the nervous system communicate. We've got chemical communication of the stomach in the way of pH, communicating with the brain, telling the esophageal sphincter to close or open when appropriate. You guys, your body is so
intelligent.
incredibly intelligent.
Well, the other part too with the stomach, as you're talking about that, is, so people take antacids, which is like, let's buffer the ability of the body to actually digest and assimilate its food. So that makes no sense, although it feels better. I'll give you that, but it's completely counterproductive. So acid reflux is not enough acid. And so like Dr. Paula was saying, so then the other part about that is instead of food digesting, it begins to ferment in the belly. And then that's the bubbling up kind of feeling as well.
Bloating, gas. Yeah.
So we
Leaky
really
gut.
just keep asking questions. That's really our bottom line. Keep asking questions about what you're doing with your health. Definitely get under chiropractic care for the simple fact that there is misinformation and maladaptive information, and also bad information and stress hormones if if our spine isn't where if we're not adjusted, if we have subluxation in our spine. So
The feedback, right? You
yeah,
you don't want your body to hear.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm like,
I know, fingers down a chalkboard, right? We go,
yeah.
but that's what's happening on that microscopic level inside your body. And you don't want your body to be hearing those messages like that.
Right.
You've got to create a clear, like Dr. Erica says, the information superhighway. Allow that clear signal. I mean, if you're watching us and the video is glitching, you'd be like, oh, I'll just listen to them. But if you're watching us and the audio is messed up, the first thing you're going to do is turn it off, because you can't take the signaling. Again, this is how the body is communicating. So think about, if you're taking a pill for an ailment, something that you're like, oh, it's regulated because I'm taking this, or I've been taking it for so long, I don't know what else to do. That's, and of course, just disclaimer, we're not here to tell you to get off of your medication. We are just here to have you question your medical doctor. Why would you prescribe 15 medications for me? Please justify that. Are there any natural things I can be doing? Maybe one of those things is necessary. I don't know. Maybe you're on seizure medication or thyroid medication, but then maybe the other ones you can manage through supplementation. Right. So
sure.
And unfortunately, a lot of times you do have to take matters into your own hands on that.
And people get really upset when I say that, when they're like, well, why didn't my medical doctor, why didn't my family practitioner tell me this? I'm like, because guess what? We are our own health advocate, and it is our responsibility individually. And I actually don't tell my patients to do anything in particular. Like, I'm like, you already know how to eat. You already know what you should eat. You know what you should drink. You know what you should be doing with your body. So I'm not going to tell you to do anything. I'm not going to tell you get on any medication or get off of any of it. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what the body needs as far as supplementation, especially if you're in a bad way and you're trying to heal and your body's calling up a healing response of some sort. But we are not here to tell you to do this or do that, or get on or get off or any of it. Like, we just want to continue to educate, and we want you to continue to level up your ability to be your own health advocate. Level up your ability to know, good from bad for your body. Listen to your body. Listen to the body's signals. It starts at a whisper. It gets louder if we're not listening. And then it goes on and on from there. So symptoms are, I was listening to something just earlier today, and it was like heart disease and heart issues. Some of the times the first symptom is you die, right? And the subluxation misalignment,
40%.
Yeah, you can't feel these until the symptoms are the very end. Like, you can't feel the body misaligned and the spine misaligned. We can't feel that. We have to get good chiropractic care. We just do.
I'm looking at, I just want to springboard off of that is we're here to help you understand how to ask better questions. You don't always need to know the answer to anything. You just need to be able to question something enough so that you can make an educated decision with regards to it.
Absolutely.
So, again, you don't need a PhD. You just need to say, can I get some more information about
Right.
X?
Yeah.
Joe texted me the picture of that apple cider vinegar, and it's non-GMO, it's USDA organic, raw apple cider vinegar, organic wildflower honey, water, and organic turmeric juice. And this is great. I wonder how expensive it is, and I would question you could probably make it yourself. So when that bottle's empty, I would add your own ingredients, put local honey in there, and then just shake it in the jar. Shake it in that bottle, because you could probably, again, I get, like, if you compare price to that, you could probably make that yourself, and then go to Rebel's page
Yeah.
and see how you make that. So yeah.
Well, we are timing out, and I have 20 minutes to make the rest of my day happen before I jump on a plane this evening. I know. I got like a 20-minute
All
turn
right.
and burn to get
Let's
home.
get you out of here. So you want to
Yeah.
recap that one
Yes.
and read next week for us?
Yep, for sure. So principle number 8, that's this week, is the function of intelligence is to create force. So to move around in our world, that's really what this is all about. And to do that better, do the things we talk about.
Mhm.
So, and then number 9, the amount of force created by intelligence. So the amount of force created by intelligence is always 100%, which then we just go into, what shape is our body in, and how can the force move through there, and
Yeah, that's
what
going to be
things
a
are
good
interfering
one.
with it and all that. Yeah.
It's going to be good. So, all right, you guys, tune in
All
for that
right.
one. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks again for all your questions. If we can help you in any other way, please
Yes.
let us know, and please share so we can continue to grow. All right. Thanks, you guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.